Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you watch my transmission. Tis I, Mike Martins, bringing you another very important housing discussion problem. So, this has been renovictions have been very popular in states like Utah, Nevada, Arizona, parts of Texas. And what's happening is landlords are just evicting people so they could get their places renovated. In response to that, they just get a tenant that pays more money. And why is that happening through the central part of the United States? Because of the mass exodus of people leaving California. And the mass exodus of people leaving California, about 6 million in the last 6 years, people leaving Washington State and Oregon. Everyone's moved east to greener pastures to basically affordability levels, and they're housing migrants. So all fine and dandy, but it's the way it's being done, and evicting people and then airing the place out for a day. And not even I've heard horror stories of like things like condos and apartments and homes, and they weren't even painted or redone. What they did was just air the place out for a day and then put it up for rent and then double or triple the price on the rent. And it's happening. And it's happening more in the United States right now. So Westminster renters rally against renovictions as landlords fine bylaw comes into effect. Tenants hope new laws will help their case. City says landlord already facing fines. So this is happening a lot. They want to evict people and just charge more, right? You would think, well, he does own the property. He can, you know what I'm saying? So it kind of becomes more of a case of morality and moral and being there for your common man and helping, but this is 2019, so it's not really common. So New Westminster, BC renters being forced out of their homes by their landlord in an apparent renoviction. Hope action from the new city in the form of fines will allow them to stay. Dozens of tenants like Shelley marched through the city streets on Sunday to protest the actions of Dinesh Chand, who owns several buildings in Westminster. Outhwaite says she was living in the building for more than a decade, but learned 2 days after Christmas that it will be renovated and she must move by summer. I was in shock, really, she said. It took me 3 days to come to terms with it. I was with my daughter and I just didn't want to break down. So-called renovictions refer to when landlords ask tenants to vacate in order for upgrades to be done. Landlords sometimes also raise rents, sometimes to a degree not come straight with the charges or renovations made. She said that, and others hope that new tough penalties put in place by the city to dissuade landlords from undertaking renovations to will help them. So you know what they did in Portland, Oregon to fix this problem was they actually put the landlords on the hook for moving fees. So if there was a renoviction in Portland or in Oregon State, the landlord will be on the hook for moving fees, all moving fees, to move to another place. So that was put in place in Oregon, right? We always pay our rent on time. We've been good tenants. We've done nothing wrong. We should be allowed to stay, she said. The city of New Westminster approved a bylaw early February that stops landlords from evicting tenants under the guise of renovations and then increase the rent. Landlords who violate the bylaw could be fined up to $1,000 a day and lose their business license. According to the statement from the city, the landlord of the Fifth Avenue building has already received 2 fines from previous complaint. As Sunday, city said they could not confirm that the fines were issued under the new bylaw for violating maintenance regulations. But they did say new investigation was being undertaken based on allegations it received and that staff met with owner and property on Friday. Lay in considerable detail the city's expectation in relation to our business licensing restrictions. A statement from Chand's lawyer says the protest, like the one on Sunday, inflame tensions and unfairly puts blame on shortage of affordability rental housing on small landlords like my client. He says Chand has chosen to extend the life of the building to maintain its affordability under what is economically possible. The statement says ending tenancies was a difficult decision, but that Chand is trying to help tenants by offering subsidized rent and alternative housing, something that may have taken him up on. The dispute is also currently an arbitration of the residential tenancy branch. Okay, guys, so this is pretty bad, and it's happening everywhere. I wanted to bring this up because it's happening in a lot of it's happening a lot in the United States. It's happening in Ireland too. Ireland, from some bizarre reason, just in Dublin, outside of Dublin, and now it's happening in Belfast too. So rent evictions or renovictions is becoming a very popular thing. It's going to get a lot worse, especially with Canada's in the business of bringing more rich immigrants in from China. So what's going to happen is it's a lucrative business for Canada, and they're looking at bringing in. So they obviously people will pay obviously more rent, right? And a lot of people that come in are students, and a lot of them have deep pockets. The Canadian proper, I mean, they voted in a lot of these politicians that are passing or allowing this kind of stuff to happen, right? So it's over here in this article. It's kind of important that like a lot of this stuff, you connect the dots and you start finding out exactly what's going on. Again, I brought this up in the last story. Canada wants more Chinese workers, students, and tourists. So this guy is no longer working because of the Huawei incident or something with China, whatever. Anyways, it says right here, visas have been increasing from China to about 500,000 per year, but opening more visa offices could help Canada compete for more Chinese workers, students, and lucrative business. So students plays a huge part in Canadian immigration. A lot of wealthy students do come in from China, and there's universities in the Lower Mainland, and people want, a place to rent temporarily while they're a student, while they're going through permanent residency, right? That's the problem. So we are in a bind right now because the people that live there and actually pay the taxes, students don't pay a lot of tax. You see what I'm saying? So this is going to be a huge thing. So we'll talk about this in the future about city taxes coming to a city near you. Well, you have your provincial tax, your federal tax, and you're going to have a tax for your city. Yeah, a city tax coming soon. You heard it here first on the Mike Martin's channel. I want to thank everyone for joining me. I want to thank everyone for tipping me in the tip jar. Also want to thank everybody for supporting me. If you guys want to support me in the transmission and my little amateur videos that I do, please go ahead and just share my video. Just share it on social media if you want to support me. That means a lot to me too. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button.